Welcome! This is the monthly Volante Next Gen update, April edition. Again, we've made some good progress. We hope you enjoy what's to come. Let's start by looking at how we are tracking. After 3 months, we should be right here. But as usual, our team strived for more. They completed discounts and taxes slotted for next month, putting us nicely ahead of schedule for now. What many people liked about the previous videos is when we highlighted the differences between the next gen and the current version, especially things that causes a lot of headaches now and more or less cannot be fixed. So in this video, we carved out a section to summarize these highlights. Let's begin with discounts. Stacking discounts causes a lot of problems now. Customers get angry because the discount isn't calculated properly, causing money to be given away. For example, a 50% discount applied twice will yield a free item. But the calculation should be that the second discount be applied to the already discounted amount. This has now been corrected. Another issue that causes problems for customers is when they apply a bill discount, and when new items are added, those won't be discounted unless you remove the discount and add it again. It's quite a nuisance. That has also been fixed. Something else to look forward to is that there is a new flag that can make discounts act like payments. If the discount pays off the transaction, it can close the transaction and even pop the cash drawer. And finally, we currently have a discount limitation. Add more than a few discounts and the system will slow down and freeze. Well, that won't happen anymore. Let's move on to tax changes. Anyone who's managed enterprise taxes know how complex it is to get it right. We've changed it so the items are not associated with individual taxes anymore. At the enterprise level, items are associated with tax groups. For example, a burger would have the food tax group. Then at the store level during configuration, you map the food tax group to the local tax like HST. And that's all you need to worry about, just mapping and not if the item has HST checked off or not. We've also added support for surtax and sugar tax, both of which are missing in the current version, causing a lot of configuration issues. And the last thing we did for taxes is that tax on gratuity doesn't need to be a separate tax anymore. You can add it to any tax by a checkbox. Now for the POS reporting. We've made a subtle but significant change. The report at the POS is now done by shift and not time. Isn't it the worst support call when the terminal times are off, resulting in the wrong report numbers? You need to dial in and find those transactions with the wrong time and fix it in the database. It's so time consuming. Well, now it reports on shift ID, so even if the time is wrong, the report won't be. Furthermore, we've also added a shift out. This allows the user to shift out before clocking out, so they can stay clocked in even after their shift and still get paid for the time they work in between. The last noteworthy improvement is the view shift transactions. Currently, if there's a lot of transactions, it takes forever to load and sometimes hangs the terminal. The improvement we made is that the transactions are stored locally, so it's very fast. And we've also implemented a paging mechanism, so it only loads one page at a time. So now, let's look at how all these changes work. We have renamed price mods to discounts to make things clearer, but the functionality is more or less the same. To get to discount is right off the main screen, discounts. It is separated into two tabs, discount and discount categories. In the discount categories, you create the discount to organize the discounts. We have set up 4. And in the discount tab, this is where you create the discounts. Our QA team set up a lot of them for testing. As you can see, the web interface makes it much easier to navigate and use. Currently, we support just about all the discounts in our current version. Let's edit one to show how it's configured. As you can see, the interface is a little cleaner, and we've changed many of the names to make things more clear. To set one up, give it a name. You can select which category it belongs to, even multiple categories. You can use tags to restrict what items that the discount can be applied to. The discount can reduce net sales, or it can be a payment method. If a payment method, a new feature is that we can select the discount to work like a cash payment or credit card, meaning it can pop the cash drawer and close the sale. And the rest of the options, it's pretty much what you already know. Let's go over to the POS and use these discounts. Let us order a fountain pop and a burger. We will apply 2 discounts to the order. The first one is 50% off the burger, and the second one is 50% off the entire bill. If we look closely, we will see that the burger has a stacking discount. And instead of giving it away for 100% discount by adding 50% plus 50%, it calculates it correctly. Now let's order a bottle of Coke. Take a look. The 50% discount is applied to the Coke as well. We don't need to remove the discount and add it again for it to be effective. Now let's show how discounts can be restricted to certain items. We'll order one of each. If we apply the 50% discount to the bill that allows food items only, it will only discount the burger. Let's apply the 10% discount to the bill that allows retail items only. Just the book is discounted. Now if we apply the 20% discount to the bill that allows liquor items, only the beer gets discounted. Let's do some more complex discounts. We are going to fix the price of the burger to $2.50. It will automatically adjust the discount and discount it 50 cents. The next discount we are going to demonstrate is where we set the max for the discount of $5. As you can see, the discount stops when it reaches the $5 limit. The next discount restricts the number of times you can apply the discount. So it can only be applied once and no more. One last thing we are prepared to show is discounts as a payment method. We order a burger and discount the burger as a payment method, as well as discount the entire bill before taxes. We will do one more and discount the entire bill after taxes. If we go take a look at those transactions, the discounts appear as a payment method. The first one before taxes and the second one after taxes. As mentioned in the highlights, taxes are much easier to configure now. To get there, go to the System Setup, then Tax Management. You first begin by setting up your tax groups. By default, Food, Liquor, and Retail group is there. We've also added bottle deposit and sugar beverages to illustrate the new taxes that we support now. The next step is to set up all your taxes. This will be your actual taxes, such as HST. We've set up 7 for demo purposes. Let's edit one. We've simplified it, but it supports more taxes. Also worth mentioning is that there are no more tax rounding issues. A new field that you can see is tax groups. This will restrict this tax to be in the food group only, which you will later see why. Also, the tax can be a percentage, a dollar per quantity, and a new one to support the sugar tax, dollar per unit. You can specify, for example, that the tax will charge 1 cent for every 100 milliliters. Something else new is this drop-down box, Surtax On. You can now create a tax that taxes the tax. The next step would be to map the tax groups to the taxes at every store. To do that, go to the System Setup, Tax Management for that store. Here you can map each group to the appropriate taxes. For example, if this was Ontario, you'd map the food group to HST, the liquor tax to the 10% liquor tax, and retail group to the HST, and the other groups to nothing. In our example, we've mapped the groups to the 7 taxes we created to illustrate a very complicated use case to show. Once we're done, the next step would be to map the menu item to the tax group. We go to the menu item section for this. In the menu item as an attribute, there is a section to associate tax group. From here, you add the tax group that the item belongs to. It does display the mapping so you can see it visually. Once you've done it for all the items, the setup is complete. The beauty of this is that you just have to do it once at the enterprise level, and that's it. Alright, let's put these taxes in action here on the POS. If we ordered a burger, we should get state, sales, county, and Joe tax. So that's good. Next, let's add a fountain pop. This will increase the taxes as well as add a sugar tax. It should be 2 cents since we've set it to be 1 cent for every 250 milliliters. Let us add a 250 milliliter bottle of Coke. This now adds another penny to the sugar tax and also adds a new bottle deposit of 25 cents. Next, we add a book, which is part of the retail group. This should just increase the taxes. And finally, we add the bottle of beer. The bottle of beer also has a bottle deposit, which should make it 50 cents. And for our final illustration, we will add $10 of gratuity. Since Joe Tax has a gratuity tax, it will add $1 to the gratuity tax. And if you live in a country with all these taxes, our Volante Next Gen product is what you need. One last thing we're going to demonstrate is how to combine taxes. Most of the time, even though there may be a state, local, and county tax, on the receipt they just wanted to say tax. To do this in the tax management of the store, you can specify which taxes to combine. Here we are going to combine sales, county, and sales tax just to read tax. Now let's do the same tax example again and see what happens. We can see after ordering the book, the taxes only show tax. Let's order the rest of the items now. As you can see, the bottle deposit, sugar, liquor, and Joe Tax still shows. Only the local, county, and sales taxes are combined. Now let's take a look at the View Shift transaction screen. On the outside it basically looks the same, but underneath it works totally different. In the current version, it will pull all the other terminals for data. This takes a very long time and often freezes the terminal. How it works now is that all the other terminals broadcast its data to others. So each terminal ends up with a complete set of data. So when you open ViewShift transaction, it just needs to query the local database without reaching out to all other terminals over the network. Furthermore, the screen supports paging now, so it only loads the data it needs to display. This makes the loading of the transactions almost instant now. Other than that, the features and functionalities are more or less the same. After you found your transaction, you can reopen it, void the items that you want, make the corrections as needed, and close it again. When browsing the transaction, like before, you can display the audit information showing who rung the item in, the payment details, the audit time, how it was voided, and at the top it indicates if the transaction has been reopened. We are also currently working on some UI improvements that will make using the screen even easier. Now let's take a look at the ViewShift transaction screen. On the outside it basically looks the same, but underneath it works totally different. In the current version, it will pull all the other terminals for data. This takes a very long time and often freezes the terminal. How it works now is that all the other terminals broadcast its data to others. So each terminal ends up with a complete set of data. So when you open ViewShift transaction, it just needs to query the local database without reaching out to all other terminals over the network. Furthermore, the screen supports paging now, so it only loads the data it needs to display. This makes the loading of the transactions almost instant now. Other than that, the features and functionalities are more or less the same. After you found your transaction, you can reopen it, void the items that you want, make the corrections as needed, and close it again. When browsing the transaction, like before, you can display the audit information showing who rung the item in, the payment details, the audit time, how it was voided, and at the top it indicates if the transaction has been reopened. We are also currently working on some UI improvements that will make using the screen even easier. To accommodate users that use the system for clocking in and payroll, we've added an option to shift out before clocking out. When you're clocked in, you cannot print a final report. But if the user isn't going home yet but want to cash out, they can use the new shift out feature to print their final report and still record their hours for pay. And when they're ready to leave, then they can clock out. It still works the same as before. If you clock out, you can still print your final report. That concludes this month's demo videos. We hope you found it useful. Again, the entire system is online and available for you to try. You can log in using the credentials on the screen. Please report any problems that you find. Our next update is at the end of May. From the entire team, thank you for watching.